In this video, I'm giving you the exact methods of becoming a full-time funded trader. This is part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, go back and watch it, because you should not be watching part 2 without watching part 1. As I said in part 1, I want you to sit down, take some notes, understand what I'm saying. With that said, let's get into the PowerPoint. If you've seen part 1, you'll know how this works. Let's go. Stage 3 is your funded account. Now, by now you should have already traded for 3 consecutive months on a small account between $50 and $150. For stage 3 you have 2 options. Listen carefully. You can either go for a minimum allocation account or a maximum allocation account. This is completely up to you. Now here I've given examples of $5,000 and $200,000 to $300,000. We're going to get into the pros and cons of each in a second, but I want you to understand that this is not a big deal at the end of the day, because whether you choose the $5,000 or the $200,000, £300,000 account, you will end up on a $200,000, £300,000 account. Option 1, $5,000 account, for example. The aim of this account is not to make money. The aim of the account is to become familiar with the broker and the platform for the funded accounts, because this is ideally who you're going to choose for your first huge max allocation funded account. You won't be 100% familiar with the trading software and the position sizes and the lot sizes and the unit sizes they use, so the aim of this account is to trade profitably still, but understand that there may be some discrepancies because you don't understand fully the trading platform. There's also going to be variations in spreads and commissions across different platforms, so that's an opportunity to understand that. Use this as a learning opportunity to understand the funded account you're with, understand how they operate, their spreads, commissions, position sizes, etc. And after you've done this, you can move on to option 2. This is just an optional stage, you don't have to do this. If you're not feeling very confident or you have no idea, you've never used a funded account before, I would recommend this. If not, you're feeling confident, great, go on to the 200k account. If you've chosen this and you've completed all the steps I've just given you, move on to option 2. Option 2 is a maximum allocation account. What I mean by that is just the most amount of money a funded account will give you. Different firms will give you different sized accounts, maybe 200, maybe 300, maybe 400,000, whatever. Doesn't matter, just whatever firm you are happy with, you want to go with, you trust, choose that. Just go for the maximum allocation. The reason I say go for max allocation, not like a 50,000 or a 25,000, is because you've proved already in stage 2 that you are a profitable trader. There is no need for you to then prove this further on a smaller account. Go dive in, straight in head first with a max allocation account. There is no reason, after you've traded for 3 profitable consecutive months, that you should be losing money on a funded account. The only reason is because you're not familiar with the trading software, which is what option 1 is for. So you now have a proven edge over the market. Usually funded accounts will have phase 1, phase 2, and then you're onto the withdrawal. Some accounts are just phase 1, and that's completely fine too. Really doesn't matter that much. The goal is to reach a payout. The goal is not to have this account forever. The goal is to reach a payout. And you do this by passing phase 1, sometimes there's a phase 2, and then trading for 14 days, 28 days, however long the payout period is, and then taking the payout. Phase 1 is usually a 10% drawdown, 8% to 10% profit target. Phase 2 is usually a 10% drawdown, 5% profit, and then a withdrawal is usually just a set amount of days with a minimum withdrawal of a tiny amount that you don't really need to know. Some accounts are just one phase. For example, a 6% drawdown with 8% profit targets, just for one phase, and then you gain the account. The one thing I want you to understand is that you do not blow the money you get from the payout at all, because this is needed in the next stage. And also, something that not enough people know is the business model behind funded accounts. They do not give you the actual money. Now, if you've got any knowledge of the My Forex Fund situation, you know what I'm talking about. Essentially, the way they make money is you pay for an account, they take the money in. The majority of people fail these accounts because they haven't watched my video, of course. And they don't get their refund, they don't get their payout, whatever. The company keeps the money. The second scenario is that they pay for the account, they pass phase 1, they pass phase 2, they get a payout, at which point they get their money refunded from the initial payment for the funded account, plus the payout. That is a cost to the business. The business never gives you the $200,000, $300,000, the $5,000, whatever it is. They never give it you. It is all simulated. The only way the majority of these funded firms make money is from the initial payment and people failing the challenges. There is a huge conflict of interest, so if you ever hear, here's a profit split, 85-15, we take 15% of the money made. No they don't. What they do is give you 85% of the money you should be getting, because the 15%, the 100% never existed in the first place. There was never that much money being made to give you and take a profit split from. They purely just take out of their revenue the money you've earned and give it to you. It is a cost to the business. It is in their best interest as a company for you to lose the account. I'm here to make sure you don't do that. Anyway, rant over. Do not spend your payout. Let's move on to the next section. You should now have experience with the funded platform, whether that be from option 1 or option 2, and you should also have a decent sized payout from the platform, whether that be $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, whatever it is. You take the payout and you keep it in your own account. Stage 4 is live account number 2. We had live account number 1 in the first video. Live account number 2 is right here. The tasks I want you to do for stage 4. You need to become self-sufficient, and you need to take this payout and put it in your own brokerage account. It doesn't matter where you put it. Personally, Oanda is my favourite. Oanda is very trustworthy. I like what they do, and I'm familiar with Oanda, so payouts in Oanda is personally for me. Now, that's not me recommending go and use Oanda, because if Oanda go bankrupt, you can blame it on me. Don't do that. Just do some research, find out where you want to put it, and go and put it there. You can trade this account however you want. Now, if you take this $20,000 payout, put it in your personal account and trade it the exact same on a trade copier, perfect. If you want to go low risk, great. If you want to go high risk, great. I don't care. You've got your money now, it's up to you to build it. Obviously, if you're using a higher risk per trade, so if you're going 2, 3, 4% per trade, which I wouldn't really recommend, but because there's no maximum drawdown, you don't necessarily have to limit yourself, then you're going to get higher returns. If you want to trade more conservatively, then you're going to have lower drawdown. So a smaller chance of you blowing the account, which is pretty unlikely at 1-2% per trade anyway, especially if you've got good risk management, which you should have learned in part 1. And I want you to build this account until you're at 6 figures plus. As I said at the start of this video, this is a 0 to 6 figure plus blueprint. Well, how do you go from 0 to 6 figures? Because you just got a $10,000, $20,000, $25,000 payout. It's simple. Do it again. Rinse and repeat this as many times as you need. It's not difficult. If you've done it once, you'll do it twice, you'll do it 3 times. For all I care, run these accounts at the same time on a trade copier. If you pass your first account, you're confident in trading, buy 6 or 7 accounts. Just buy 6 or 7 funded accounts, trade copier on each one, place the trades, pass all 7, get a payout from the 6 or 7 firms. Maybe initially you had 20,000, maybe initially you had 10,000 from that very first payout, times it by 6 or 7. That easy. You're now on 60,000, 70,000 to 120, 140,000. 36 figures, done, sorted. Stage 5, becoming a full-time trader. What I mean by this is you're not a funded trader anymore. You can be if you want, if you still want the extra money to build the account, but this is a self-sufficient full-time trader. With 6 figures plus in your personal account, you should be able to make between 5 and 10% per month, depending on your risk. Obviously, if you're risking 0.5 to 1.5% per trade, you're not going to be hitting 10% a month unless you are on a huge winning streak. Be realistic. Vary your expectations depending on your risk. Now, if I was risking 3% per trade, okay, maybe I'd have some higher expectations, but I'd also have higher expectations for drawdown. There's a huge chance I would lose more money in the month because all the wins and losses are multiplied depending on your risk size. For example, this is an example. If you are making 5 to 10% per month, you will have $5,000 to $10,000 coming in from this personal account. Obviously, if your account is more than $100,000, you're going to be making more than that, and as you make more money, it will continue to grow. You now have the facilities to grow this personal account from the funded account payouts. If you wish to continue buying funded accounts with the money you make, great, reinvest it. Build it up and up and up and up. I don't know where your limit is, I don't know where you want to stop, but you can keep going and keep going until you find yourself in a sufficient position. You now know exactly what to do. I've told you, it's up to you to go and do it. So, after you finish this video, go back, watch it again, watch it a few times maybe until you understand your stage that you're at. Obviously, if you've been trading for 5 years, you're not going to start at stage 1. You'll understand that you need to start at stage 2 maybe, or stage 3, or stage 4. It's up to you, depending on your position. Now with that said, use this information wisely, apply it. Thanks for watching, I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.